Today we are going to do a poem Photograph by Shirley Townsend. Let's read the poem first. The cardboard shows me how it was when the two girls' cousins went paddling, each one holding one of my mother's hands, and she, the big girl, some 12 years or so. All three stood still to smile through their hair at the uncle with the camera. A sweet face, my mother's. That was before I was born. And the sea, which appears to have changed less, washed their terribly transitant fate. Transitant means temporary. Some 20-30 years later, she had laughed at the snapshot. See Betty and Dolly, she would say, and look how they dressed us for the beach. The sea holiday was a past, mine is a laughter. Both very much struggling with a labored ease of law. Now she has been dead nearly as many years as that girl lived. And of these circumstances there is nothing to say at all. It's silence and silence. So basically the poem is about a photograph. Photograph means the poet Shirley Townsend is sitting looking at the photograph. The photograph has a nostalgic moment for the mother of the poet. Now, whenever the mother used to look at that photograph, the photograph belongs to the mother, and that is about an holiday where mother went when she was a child or 12 years old. Looking at that photograph, the mother used to laugh. And looking at her mother's laughter, the poet used to feel happy. So the poet had described about that photograph. The cardboard shows me how it was. Cardboard means the photograph. देखा होगा जब क्लास फोटोग्राफ मिलती थी तो पीछे कार्डबोर्ड पे ही उसे पेस्ट किया जाता था. How it was means the cardboard was telling me because there was a picture that what was the picture about. When the two girls' cousins went paddling. Paddling means for boating. Each one holding one of my mother's hands. So the poet's mother was standing in the center, and both the girls, the cousin of poet's mother, they were holding the hand of poet's mother. And she, the big girl. Who the big girl? Poet's mother. Some 12 years or so. At that time, poet's mother was 12 years old when this photograph had been taken. All three stood still to smile through their hair. Means all the three were standing still. Poet's mother and the two cousin sisters of poet's mother. They were standing still in a attention position, smiling through their hair. Means their hair was flying in the air. And the uncle with the camera. The uncle was clicking their photograph. So they were looking at their uncle. They were standing still. They were laughing and their hairs were flying in the air, in the wind. And the uncle was there with his camera clicking their photograph. A sweet face, my mother. That was before I was born. So poet is saying that this photograph had taken place before she was born. And because that time poet's mother was 12 years old when she went to a sea holiday along with her cousin. And the sea, which appears to have changed less, washed their terribly transitant feet. So poet is saying that the sea where my mother had went when she was a child for a sea holiday, though my mother is no more, she is dead. But that sea is there. It is still there, which was showing how that sea was washing the terribly transitant feet, the feet of poet's mother and her two cousins. But the sea is still there, but poet's mother is not there. So it shows the temporary or uncertainty of life. Some 20-30 years later, so the poet is saying after this incident, some 20-30 years later, after 20-30 years later means poet's mother might be 42 years old or 52 years later, she would laugh at the snapshot. Who? The mother. Whenever after this incident, after 20 years of this incident, after 30 years of this sea holiday incident, whenever the mother used to look at the photograph, snapshot means that photograph, she used to laugh. See Betty and Dolly. So the two cousins, sisters of poet's mothers were Betty and Dolly. She would say, and look how they dress us for the beach. And then she was describing in the photograph how Betty and Dolly, they had dressed up for their sea holiday. The sea holiday was her past. Mine is her laughter. The poet is saying the sea holiday was the past of my mother. So whenever she used to look at that photograph of her childhood, she used to laugh. And looking at her laughter, I used to feel happy. Both vary with the labored ease of loss. So poet is saying that both are suffering with the same kinds of loss. That mother is suffering. She is missing her childhood days, and poet is missing her mother's laughter. Now she has been dead nearly as many years as that girl had lived. Now mother had died, and it had been 12 years that mother had died. It is written here. Nearly as many years as that girl lived. So that girl was 12 years old at that time when she went to a sea holiday. And now mother had died for the last 12 years. And of these circumstances, which circumstances poet is talking about? The poet is talking about that circumstances where poet mother is no more. She had died, and poet is missing her mother's laughter. Why? Because whenever the mother used to see the photograph, she used to laugh. And looking at her laughter and happiness, the poet used to feel happy. But now the poet is missing her mother's laughter because the mother is no more. She had died. There is nothing to say at all. Why there is nothing to say at all? Because mother is no more. It's silence, silences, means everywhere it silence. The mother is not there to laugh, and looking at her laughter, the poet used to laugh, which is no more because mother is not there. So there is silence everywhere in and around the life of the poet. Is it clear? I think the poem is clear to